Can you guys hear me? GM? I have no idea if I'm live. GM, we are on. All right, rock and roll then. Welcome. I can't see how many people are on, but there's some amount. Okay, so I am live. We're working. Nice. Let's go. Okay. Dealing with a little bit of difficulties there, but thank you guys for joining. Wanted to go over a couple things here, and because it's also been like a month since we've done one. First things first, Solana will be out of beta here in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have a full wallet database loaded into here. You can already see some of the holdings data is rolling through, but once we have a full set of wallets, call it like 500 or so versus the 100 I think we have right now, Solana will be effectively complete. That will also mean you'll be able to set up Solana alpha stream filters and run alerts into your Telegram, which will be pretty sweet to catch some of the new launches over there. Secondly, if you did not see the announcement, we're going to be layering in social data into the site. So all we've done so far is taken every account that was early to tokens that were very high in P&L. So they were either pre-launch or, for some tokens that were slower moving, people that followed before things took off. So like on an OPSEC, for example, it's people that followed. Yeah, great day to learn about Chain Edge while your bags are dumping in the background. It's not just your bags, it's all of our bags. It is a nightmare right now. But yeah, so we're bringing in basically 500 or 600 of the smartest Twitter accounts that were following early before, any of these tokens in here. So Pandora, Mubi, Blender, OPSEC, Peas, Genus, Scale, GPU, Tau, ZKML, Chicken, kind of, Dizzy Havoc. Anyone that was early to those things, whether to be early they had to be following pre-launch, or if they just followed before the price went crazy, like on a DGen, for example, on Base. We took accounts that were early, and then we started just applying hit rate filters, so people that were consistently early to these things, and built a kind of initial beta database. And we'll be streaming all of their new follows here shortly. And so that'll just show up right here on the homepage, maybe like right here instead of the research, so you can see it. So that's step one. And that's going to be really helpful for people that haven't used a tool like that. Secondly, we'll be bringing that kind of follow data across all of crypto Twitter into each of the token pages, into our database. We'll be actively, scoring each account based on how early they follow things, or if they're just always following things that are making money. And then most importantly, for those of us that like to play around with the new launches, even though that's been pretty unprofitable the last week or so, Yep, number one, exactly. Yeah, so now, once we have the database flowing of just the smart follows, when you get a ping on something like ZK0, which obviously has been shitty, but if that would have launched 3 weeks ago, it probably would have been awesome. So when you get a ping on something like that, it'll say, oh, so there's, it hit your filters, and this account's Twitter has, 10 smart follows already. Because what we're trying to reverse engineer is the process that I personally followed and others followed along on with Yai, and it's something I've been talking about before. As we were doing some of this work, I saw smart people following Yai. I was like, hey, Yai looks cool. And then Yai's Twitter account was like, hey, we're launching tomorrow. I'm like, hey, everyone in the Chain Edge Discord, this is launching tomorrow. And as soon as the alert came in, it was like, hey, I know exactly what this is. It was only a 400 or 500K market cap. I'm going to go buy 1% of it. And it obviously was an awesome win, though I fumbled it a little early. I think some people did too. And obviously for you Solana enjoyers, it'll be the same exact thing, right? Like the smart Twitter follower database is not just EVM only. We have people in there that were early to whiff, not bonk, Bohm, Mew, Pups, anything that was money on Sol as well. So I think it's going to be really cool, and it's going to make, on-chain data is only one part of the puzzle, and I think having the whole thing together is going to make it extremely powerful, and this is the perfect time for us to ship it for all of you, already using the site, to start using the social data as well, and we iterated on it with you and make it into something awesome while the market sucks. Because, it's not going to suck forever. Do all subs get access to the Discord? Yes. If you have a subscription, go to the top right of the app under my profile. There's a link to the Discord. We semi-guard the Discord because we don't want people just wandering in there and clogging up the feeds. There's a lot of discussion in there. I mean, we were talking about Yai at 500K market cap. We've been early to a lot of things. So, that's also an added bonus for anyone that does have a Chain Edge sub. But yeah. What else? Yeah, so eventually, if you've seen... Oh, you can't see it in here. We'll eventually do a little more social listening stuff with the, both the smart accounts and the just broader crypto Twitter accounts, and bring it into like a full-fledged social listening, what's getting, traction, what narratives are hot. That might all end up falling under the alpha tier, which is where like the sniper products will sit. Socials will be added for Solana as well, 100%. It's almost more important over there. But yeah, so if you think about the ultimate goal, right, is, Solana will be out of beta in less than 2 weeks. So if you're looking for good Solana plays, we'll basically add another, parameter in here for just number of smart followers once it's ready. Because ideally on a new launch, you want to have some amount of smart followers already on there. And so if you could add just a minimum, but either way, it'll display on all alerts. So, if you set up your Solana alerts for, people with high P&L, the aped a certain amount, it'll immediately say, we didn't get any smart followers. There's 5 smart followers. There's 10 smart followers. Eventually, each smart follower, will show like the top 5 or so. We'll score all of them. So, it will be extremely powerful. Maybe not right away because most new launches have not been that good. But, whenever the market, at least the shitcoin market bounces back, I think it'll be very, very powerful. We'll also eventually add, shortly after that, follows over time. So let's say you're researching a more established token, right in here, there's going to be, we'll put basically analytics of just crypto Twitter and smart followers over time. So you can get a sense of, is it picking up traction with people on Twitter or not at all? That's like a secondary thing. But I think just having, tracking the follows just, at the beginning of a token's life cycle gets you, that's alpha, because then you start to build kind of an understanding of which tokens are coming next. It's also an easy place to find, potentially get into pre-sales, seed deals, anything like that. So there's a lot of money-making opportunities that aren't necessarily just finding tokens early from watching the smart follows. But in my experience, if you think about the token's life cycle, it starts with, the early followers start following. There may be a seed deal. If there's not, that's when the token's going to do its best. Because that's another point I wanted to talk about. If you look at all these tokens, where the most P&L has been made, millions. I think the total P&L of all the wallets over the last 180 days is 400 or 500 million. It's like Pandora, like that launched, it was like a couple billion market cap. Like if there was a pre-sale, it wasn't very big. Mubi, I think, was just a normal launch. Blender was a normal launch. OPSEC was normal. Peas was normal. Genus, Scale, like all of these more like actual fair launch. Like if you were early, you could have just bought the token and made money. That is where these P&Ls happen. So anytime there's a launch where it's like, oh, you go into the docs and there's this big pre-sale and that's why it launches at like 5 million. They don't tend to be the outsized P&L tokens, like Dizzy Havoc. That one was another printer. Yai was obviously very good. Degen, same thing. So, where Discord at? If you have a subscription, just log in. Just right up here, profile. And then there's a link to the Discord. What else? Feel free to ask any questions. I can't see how many people are on. Oh, decent amount. It goes without saying, but when the market's bad like this, it's always better to just kind of, if you're gonna ape something, maybe ape where all of the attention is. Like this thing, Speedy, has looked pretty good on Phantom. It's been a long time since we've seen like a Phantom new launch actually show up in here. I think there was another one on Phantom getting a bunch of buys too. Yeah, S-Goat. Dog has also looked good last I checked. But other than that, it's like in terms of new launches, I don't think any of these have really done well. ZK0's done poorly. BPH, big pre-sale, bad. Poon, big pre-sale, they think bad. I don't know how Reflect has done, but I'd assume bad. So it's not a market to just be, firing off clips and everything you see. There's just no demand for anything out there. You've seen it. We've talked about it for a couple weeks now. Most of these popular tokens have just seen balances straight down. Even BVM, how many smart money pails failed? I don't know what that means. But like BVM, it was up only for a long time and has finally turned negative. But that one still did well. RB popped into the top 20 right away. Now it's in the top 10. Kind of a sign of what's working, which is runes-based stuff. Everything else, for the most part, has not been very good. Genus is one where smart money just will not. They just keep buying the dip on that one. They will not give up on that. Show us, see, Meme Mania anytime soon. I don't know if it's even mania anymore. I mean, how many memes are actually doing well now? Now if I go in here to base and I look at the Toshi dogging me, thank you base god, Keycat and Brett. Like, I mean, I feel like most of these have looked pretty bad. It's like smoked. That chart almost looks wrong. Did Dogging Me really get killed that hard? I doubt it. Must just be bad price feeds. Yeah, Keycat. I mean, all these things are getting smoked, so I don't know if like, I mean, we're, you know, it's late now. Meme mania is like kind of, you know, come and gone. Most of these things aren't doing well. Other than, I mean, there's some Solana memes that are still doing fine, but for the most part, all of the on-chain memes have kind of started to roll over. Favorite workflow for identifying gems early. So again, it's very market specific. So I haven't been. Usually, it would be some sort of alert or alpha stream flow. So I'll try to run one. Let's see if I can. So usually, well, one, any new launch is going to show up in here. So I usually, like, if you think about just daily research process, I'll go through what got the most buys and who held on to tokens, because, like, see this one, like, that's smart money blowing out of their pre-sale on Poon, right? That's why that's negative. That's not a bug. That's just they sold that many more tokens than they bought because they're trying to get out. So in general, if they're holding on to their tokens day one, they obviously think it's, you know, there's some amount of them that think it's going to go up. So if you're, you know, if you're not online all day long, that's an easy way. Another one is, you know, pulling these down to like 5,000 on number of 5K plus holders, and going into newer tokens, you know, less than 2 weeks old or something, and seeing what's in here. Like RB has been in here. That one's actually done really well. Earth, there's people that are bullish on Earth. They're also bullish on Dump. Tor has actually done well, as has, I mean, Hash AI was doing well for some time. Rivis, I haven't checked, but like that one was doing fine too. Like that's the easiest place to find, just like, if, so like flows are flows. People, like, smart money buys things early and often and in size. So if you see flows, it's one thing, but if they're sticking into a coin that's brand new, you know, with 6 figures of size across the, you know, smart cohort, usually they're, you know, they see some sort of long-term potential. So that's like an easy place to find potential runners, and then you can go and research them. I don't know, you know, you got to be really picky in today's market, but that's an easy way. And then obviously there's the alerts way. You know, like I usually run, you know, for new launches, like 5 days or less, 400K P&L, no win rate, and then 5K minimum. And then probably today you want like 4 wallets. So people went hard on ZK0 and obviously went south, and then they went, you know, like this kind of shows you that how restrictive these alerts are. You know, there's very few tokens that actually popped up hitting these filters, right? 2 in the last 24 hours. And there was a time Woke did pretty well. I have no idea if it's still doing well. Yeah. But when the market's better, you know, that filter system, there will be rugs that pop up or tokens that don't do well, but it's a pretty easy way to kind of filter out all the new launches into the ones that are worth paying attention to. And all of the future runners, things like CSwap and OPSEC and ZKML, Blender, Scale, I hit these filters. What strategy has the best win rate in your opinion? Highly market. At the end of the day, it's still, you're at the whim of the market. Like, if the market's not doing well, it's really hard for any of these tokens to do well, because if it's really poor, then people just chase what's working really hard, like FriendPet and a few others. I mean, there's just very few that are actually working right now. But in general, sticking with these tokens that are being highly held, and maybe filtering this down to 5,000, going for ones that are a little bit earlier, and then being really like tactical in your entries. So like Scale, I think Scale's down today because their Twitter got hacked or something. But trying to buy these at some sort of support is like a way easier game than trying to play the new launch Gauntlet. Yeah, like this is I basically have done all my buys of Scale at like around this level. Like there's been long-term support at 0.23 or so. Basically since it's launched, like anytime it's wicked there's big buys there. So if the market wasn't going straight down, every time it was tapping 0.23 to 0.28, I was trying to bid, because smart money likes it. It's obviously a somewhat real project, and that's kind of like the framework I use. Is if you're looking for just to hit 2x, 3x, you're kind of waiting on the market to get a little bit better, but like these are the easier tokens to trade. And obviously, the further down the list you go, you may be taking more risk, but you're also going to be earlier. But basically, any token that's going to do well or already has done well usually shows up in here. FriendPet, Degen, Toshi, Earth, Cosmic, which has done really well. And this is also an easy place to find kind of the slower moving cookers like Cosmic. Like Cosmic was in here maybe in the first couple of pages when it was a sub 10 million market cap, and then it ran to like 50 million. So again, like this is just an easy, like, think about like what you get to see here, right? These are the bags of the people that make the most money. It's what they're holding right now. Like this is live holdings data. And then you can see the changes over 7 days. This is live holdings data right now. So it's like, you can see their portfolio. And so when you see things that kind of pop out, like not, you haven't heard as much about it. It's like, oh, that could be interesting. Like Earth, like a lot of, 120K is pretty small, but like Earth, Mog's not that interesting anymore. Like Dump, not really that many holdings on it anymore. LMR is always in here. You can fish for drops. Has always been in here. LMYao, Psy. Like there's plenty of gems to be found just going through this list versus working through anything else. All of the swap based and alpha stream based workflows are more new launch oriented. With that said, I usually will once a day go through the alpha stream, and I've talked about this before, and just run no filter, what have 400K gem spotters been buying size in? So let's do 10 grand. It's like, what are they buying? It's like, yeah, and it makes sense. It's RDAT, Avo, Floki, ENA, Butterfly, Desync, AIUS, Gear. Like not that many, but it just kind of shows you what's top of mind with these, these traders that, like this trader has a average hold time of 140 days. So it's an easy way to just get a glimpse of, okay, it's basically taking like the swap summary flows and just highly dissecting it into only gem spotters, only aping 10K. For most pairs, you can just put ETH on the sell side and you see just buys. But yeah, I mean, they're obviously just not buying much other than Floki, ENA, Gear, Butterfly. So it's another workflow to find potential gems or look for people that are buying the dip in a sea of red. Because you're cheating and already just going to, the whole side is smart money, but, these filters are getting you to, 400K P&L means they're like top 1 or 200 in our entire database. And then Gem Spotter, and then obviously if they're aping 10K, usually they have some level of conviction. Will the social smart followers be anonymous? No. We'll show who the smart followers are. So you can see them, and then you can build your own frameworks, around which smart followers you think are actually good, and then you can fade ones that you don't think are good. And again, because I'm getting this, I've been getting this question. It's like, we are going to just bring it right into the site. It's no separate product. For the time being, you don't have to pay anything different. Like, it is just going to be right somewhere here on the homepage. Yeah, we can bring fresh wallets in. It probably, most people charge a lot more than what we're charging for the base product for fresh wallets, so I don't know if it'll exist under the current feature set or the product set, but it's not that hard to do. I always quibble with how useful it really is and will it make you money, but if people want it, we will make it. How do you spot long-term blow-ups like Pandora while still being early? Oh, yeah, that's... Usually if smart money holds on to their holdings, it's not going to die. It has happened. Realistically, if you're going to hold something till it gets to that level, you just have to almost get your position and then go and build your own conviction around the project by researching it, feeling good about it, and then just don't watch the price at all. Because it happened to me on Yai, for example. It's like I did all this pre-work. Alert comes in. I know exactly what it is. I bought 1%. I owned 1% of this thing. You could probably, if you found my wallet, you could see it. And I sold it for a very good gain. I think it was like, it was 1 ETH to 10 ETH. But, at its peak, this thing was worth 60 million. And 1% of 60 million is a lot more than 10 ETH. So I fumbled it because I didn't just hold on and not watch the price. It's like I got up a little bit and just, got out because I was nervous. So... And I've done the same thing on OPSEC. These ones that really run. Obviously the market's kind of falling apart now, but when things are going up, for most of the ETH utility plays in particular, they just kept going up. Like, it was just your best course of action was just to let it be. And even things that I bought early that I didn't think were very good, they all just ran really hard. So it's a balancing act. Something like Pandora, when the attention peaked on it, right when everyone was writing research articles about it, it kind of reminded me of when everyone wrote research articles about Unibot and how Unibot is changing the world, and the PE is so low, it was like top, guaranteed top, and then it went straight down. So in Discord, which thread do you post most of your insights to? I'm kind of all over, but I'll post in, the pre-launch corner, the snipers corner, and then usually in community research, EVM, because I don't do so much on Solana, but I'm in there quite a bit. What are you planning for? Chain Edge in 1 to 2 year period. So, one, we're going to get social data throughout the site, which I think is going to be really helpful. There's a lot of AI stuff we can do with these wallets, because not every wallet is created equal. And two, different smatterings of, or groupings of wallets together when they ape something can provide a very different signal that we're just not giving to you. And once we bring that in with social data, I feel like we can add in a lot of AI things to kind of really improve the signals, right? Because at the end of the day, I just want, if you guys are making money, you'd probably pay like 4 times more for a month for Chain Edge. And you'll never leave. And so the name of the game is always just be pushing the entire thing forward to be making you money. Another thing that who knows how soon we'll roll it out, but the ability to trade. You can see my trading panel here, which is really nice for the people that are always on the site. So, you see it, and maybe you see it early, you can just hit buy and you've got some. It's just click buy. I don't know if it's actually, if my account has any ETH in it or not, but yeah, you just click buy and boom, you have the tokens. You can just set up your gas. Slippage doesn't matter. It's private, so you won't get MEV attacked, and then boom, you've got your tokens, which I think will be, look at that. See, I just bought it. It's like no fumbling around with Uniswap for anyone that still does that. Yeah, fresh wallets can be decent for the new launches, but I've also seen it highly manipulated, so you have to have some filters going on, but we'll definitely bring it into the site. I just don't know if it'll be under the current product. But yeah, we'll roll out trading, first for ETH, but then for all of the other chains. What else? I mean, there's stuff that we're working on, like ability to save alpha stream filters. We'll eventually add the ability to filter and get alerts on portfolio changes. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff we end up building is just like what the users ask for. Oh, like a pre-sale dashboard. I had somebody ask me for a pre-sale dashboard, which would be really easy for us to do. So because our wallets skew more degen, they're definitely going to be, oh yes, narrative panels. I forgot about that one. That one is coming very soon too. That one will actually be hopefully coming out around the same time as socials, hopefully. So I might actually replace this, because I'd never really gotten that much out of the smart money volume. I might move that right here. And so you can see the, we can either do smart money volume by narrative, or we could do holdings by narrative. I don't know which way is better between the two. But yes, that one is coming. We'll also do something like that for the socials too. So certain people are better at following things early, right? Like following different kinds of things early, right? Like there's a subset of wallets that are good for ETH utility plays. There's some wallets that are really good for Sol stuff. There's some accounts, like Twitter accounts that are just good at everything. And so being able to, yes, that one's coming. So hyped stealth CA launches. So that will not make it into this, pricing tier, but that we have a whole pre-launch hype and sniper dashboard that we've been working on. You can see glimpses of it in the Discord, where I'll say, hey, this is launching today. Here's the contract address. Here's the taxes, etc. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't talk about that. There's also going to be a whole bribe analytics, portion of that. So if you think about what we can do, right? We have all of these different data points pre-launch, and we can tell you, well, based on a launch just like this one, bribes were X to get 1% of, a snipe. And so for this launch that you're looking at, you can do the same thing. Also, if you don't like to snipe, it's still a really easy place to find contract addresses before they launch, and then you can either ape early, or if they ends up launching with no sniping whatsoever, like you still got the contract. It's kind of up to you. But if you think about, if you have that dashboard with the smart follows dashboard and then the rest of ChainEdge as it exists today, you are seeing soup to nuts, the token's life cycle. So you'll see the Twitter follows first, unless it's like a really, really stealth launch. But even like on Yai, for example, there's people following before it went. But then you'll see the pre-launch hype. So you'll see, people looking to snipe it, people scanning the contract. We'll also pair it to the socials. So you'll be able to see, hey, this contract with smart followers, is getting ready to get launched. So yeah, that'll be pretty sweet. So yeah, that will be coming out, and then that's where the social listening stuff will sit too. But can we get market cap on the alpha stream? You can filter it by market cap. How much time before releasing snipe? I don't know yet. I got to talk to the team today, but like it shouldn't be. We like to launch things in like 6-week sprints. So I'll say less than 6 weeks from today, we should have something ready to go. Maybe we won't have the full bribe analytics, but at least you'll be getting alerts on potential snipes and things like that. And then also, like think about how it all works together, right? Like not only are you getting a potential alert on, hey, this token, it looks like people are trying to snipe it. You'll see the socials connected to the token, and it's like, oh, there's 10 smart followers already on this. Like this could be pretty cool. So kind of bringing it all together, makes this thing that you really can't get anywhere else. It's kind of like trying to recreate all the stuff that's going to be in here in 6 weeks is going to be, like you can't really do it. Like you kind of have to hodgepodge all these different tools together. But like someone asked market cap, like you want to see market cap right on here? I mean, because you can filter it like 100K to 1 million market cap. Just boop. There's still people buying the dip in this thing, which is interesting. This is another launch that was supposed to go out today, FUXE. That's so funny. So me and Ox275 we got rugged for the same amount of money at the same amount of time. That's real nice. It's good company. But yeah, I mean, if you can just run a like that's another. I don't do it that way, but if you want, you can always run a sub 1 million high-p&l wallet filter and see what's going on with some shit coins. Watchlist feature. Yes, unrealized P&L. That's going to come too. It's actually kind of part of the sniper workflow as well, because our I think it's worth noting, most of the snipers in here do not snipe. So I know people are always like, oh, there's snipers in this. There's snipers in this. It's like the way we categorize the 3 P&Ls of the 3, buckets is just gem spotters create P&L on tokens older than a day. Early movers generate P&L on buying tokens older than like 20 minutes. Snipers buy in the first 20 minutes. So not all wallets tagged as snipers are snipers, but like effectively, they're extremely early to everything. So like it works. Once the sniper product is out, then there's actually going to be, 90% of the wallets in here are going to get kicked over to here. But as part of that process, I think we'll be rolling out unrealized P&L as well, because that does manipulate. Where it really hurts is like win rates. So for a lot of these people that ape things early, just aping shitcoins 24/7, because we don't take into account unrealized P&L, their win rate may look really high, and that's why I always say don't run filters based on win rate. The win rate gets skewed to be maybe it's 90%, and that's really, really, really bad because they're just aping so much garbage. That's not necessarily true, because they're not, like, the guys that are consistently early make the most money, but they're the ones that are working the hardest for it. The most outsized gains, right? You want to turn 1,000 into 1,000,000. It's going to be these sniper wallets. My personal favorite wallets to follow are the early movers, because the early movers kind of, they do more research, so they won't ape right away. But like this guy, 275, he hasn't traded that many tokens, 350, versus, some of these snipers will trade thousands, like this guy. But in general, the sometimes they're called late mover in the site, but they're early movers. They trade less tokens. They trade more in size. So I usually like to follow them. But I don't think the composition of what kind of wallets are in a token actually matter. In the sniper product, you'll be able to see how many people sniped the token in general, and that matters a lot. So on some of these launches, snipers will take 70% of the supply. That's a massive problem, because that is going to be a sell pressure overhang until, 80% of them leave, and then the remainder actually knows that the project's getting good, and then they'll hang on. But like a lot of the snipers in here will hold on for some time. Like this one. This guy bought Runes Bridge extremely early. But, they like, so if you would have said, oh my God, there's a sniper in this token, I definitely can't buy it. It's like, that's not really the right way to think about it, because they just held it till whenever it hit 10 cents, which was maybe yesterday. Watchlist feature for tokens. What do you want on the watch list? Like, so you add your tokens. Let's say you have 5 tokens. Like, what stats would you want on the watch list? Like flows, holdings, price. Because it does make sense to have a watch list. I just have to figure out where to put it. MD, what do you want on the watch list? Like, what data? Nothing? Other questions, thoughts, things you don't like about the site? You name it. Yep. Okay. I got you. Maybe we'll just make a separate tab for it. Because it would almost, like, how I'd picture it is, let's say you can have like 10 tokens. Top X holders have sold on your watch list. We can probably do that. It's something I've also wanted to bring into some of these token pages, but it's a little bit hard to, I don't want to have a bunch. We already have some tabs, and I don't like having. I don't want to have just infinite tabs on this page. But yeah, I got you. Maybe we'll definitely do some sort of watch list thing. That's a good idea. Maybe you could even stream. Say you can have 5 or 10 tokens in your watch list. You could even have a swap stream for your watch list, which would be kind of cool. So you could just see like the near term, like is there any activity whatsoever? Yeah, wow. Also, if you haven't used the holdings over time, it's kind of hidden. But I really like watching holdings over time because it's a much easier way of seeing those balance changes on the balance change part of the portfolio summary in the homepage. I mean, look at this. It's like 23 million tokens did 4. That's brutal. What else? Oh, someone asked if Sol alerts are live. That was a couple of questions back. They're not live yet, but they will be soon. They're effectively ready. We just need to set up a separate Telegram bot to feed them into, so that we don't get rate limited, because we send out like when the market was really popping. I mean, we were sending out like 15 to 20,000 alerts a day or something. But yeah, that's, like I said, Solana leaving beta, even though, I mean, you can use the Solana now. The data works, the data flows. The only things we really need to do are expand the amount of wallets in here and then add alerts. But everything else, like the wallet categorizations, you can see the P&Ls, the alpha stream, it all works. The balance over time graph is based off smart money as well. Yes, correct. So all it's doing is just token balance, so not dollar balance. It is just the, take all the wallets that have held it or are holding it, and it just shows, within our database, what is the total balance of the tokens held. If it's going down but the price is going up, that's okay, because it's kind of just a... I mentioned the framework somewhere in Discord today, but it's good to go over it one time, I guess. Balance is going down, but the token price going up is super normal. Happens all the time. Like when we had this 12 months ago, Pepe had outflows all the time because everyone was so early to it. They were just taking profit over and over and over. But if the price action is good and balances are down, it's just people taking profit. But flat to down prices with negative balance changes usually means like things are not good. Just down. Flat to down with balance changes, also flat or up, which was BVM was like that for a long time. I'll pull it up. That usually is very good. And it's easier to spot. I think I can pull it right in here. So, it's not just like, you can't just observe it in a vacuum. It's like let me try to find a good example. Genus is a good example. Let me pull that one. Well, there's a price chart right in the page. But yeah, like BVM is an example, and you saw it on all the pages, right? Like balance is up. Like there's not a lot of tokens that have this pattern. So if you go through these a lot, you'll notice most tokens patterns, because again, our smart money skews, it's just P&L based, and so a lot of times they're just really, really early. So almost every token will start with this out the gate. Really high. They take profit because the price, it's up so much in this period that they take they take their kill and they move on. When you see this, it's usually quite bullish. And I mean, from March 13th to yesterday, I mean, we can see what the price did. Yeah, I mean, basically a double, right? Like March 13th, smart money accumulated the whole way through, and then balances from here to there just went straight down. So we actually should just put the price in here. I think it would be helpful. There was a time we did. But yeah, in general, if you ever spot, you can check when you see balances going up. Oh, like Genus. I think I had Genus pulled up. Like Genus actually, again, this is not investment advice, but this has just been terrible. Grinding lower. Knife fight PA on this thing. But I'm pretty sure the holdings on this, unless there's a bug, have been pretty good. That's kind of weird. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting, right? So despite, the prices went straight down over this period, and it's just indifferent smart balances, which is interesting. But anyway, any other questions? And you can also always ping us in the Discord. We're open to changing anything within the site. We're not married to any of it. Each of these pages has been reworked over and over. All we're trying to do is just get every single page and every data point to the most actionable as possible. Do you think it'd be possible to have the number of wallets on the smart inflows? Yeah, we can probably, there's room to put them right in here. So yeah, we can do that. No, smart money balance is just quantity of tokens, no price. If price was involved, then that chart would be unusable because it would be influenced by the price. Right, so Genus, that's just, you can see that it's just token balance, 25,000, 20,000. So this is the price, obviously if this token goes up 10x, I'm sure you'll see it, balances probably chase into the pump and then sell because they made money, but this is just balance held of tokens, not dollars of tokens. Any other questions? You can just paste the wallet in the alpha stream. Way easier than hovering. Oh, we need to add the copy paste here, but if you see this wallet in here, you can just take the wallet and just put it in here, and then you'll see all their trades. And obviously this one trades a lot, but we'll add the little hover over like we do for everything else to get contract addresses. But yeah, you can just paste the wallet address to get. That's the cool thing about the alpha stream is you can take any wallet in the database. You can also query any wallet in the top to get their P&L. But yeah, you can. Let's just say you want to see. You can put a wallet in there. If you just want to see buys on ETH pairs, you can just put ETH on the sell side, and you'll just see, okay, what are people buying right now? You can see what people are buying 10K of. There's a lot of different ways to filter it. But If you just want to see, you can also just click the wallet too, right? Like if you click a wallet, you can see their P&L. Like their win rate's probably not actually 70% because it doesn't have unrealized, but you can see all of their trades right in here. Other questions? What is up, T? What do you mean how deck screener has it? We can do your... We need to add, we just haven't had the dev capacity, just the ability to save your filters. So like add a button here, and so then you can just, instead of having to rerun this over and over, you can actually see wallet buys. And well, one, it's way easier just to take it and put it in. I mean, you can just take the wallet and just put it into whatever token chart on deck screener. You can also, on these ones, you can actually, for some of these, you can view their trades right within their biggest winners. It doesn't look like it's working that well. Change the filters, adjust the URL. Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, we'll just, if you create a filter that you like, we'll just save them in here. So you can just save it and then bookmark it. So then, if it's saved, I think we should be able to do that. But worst case, even if it's better to have, I see what you're saying. If you could just bookmark it and hit it and you got it fast, that's good. A second way to do it, at least in the interim, would be just for us to have saved filters. So if you're on this page, you just click a button, it runs your filter, so you don't have to just put it in again. But I see what you're saying, to have the URL change so you can bookmark it. So I'll see what we can do. Wallet page auto refresh. Is it? I can check. I mean, the problem is people get so many tabs open that it's going to just start like really bogging everything down. But I mean, the wallet pages are very live. They just don't. If you want live transactions, I would just set up alerts on a wallet. I personally don't find there's not that much alpha in the individual wallets. 9 times out of 10, there's some wallets that are very good, but highly depends. What is this? Is this the thing we were talking about? Wope? People just clipping 10K into that thing? Sheesh. But yeah, I mean, if you want to see wallet buys and sells on the chart, like you can just take a wallet and just put it in the, just put it on the chart. I mean, there was a time we had that in here, but it, like, especially for tokens where there's a lot of trades, you think like, oh, I can see where they're buying and selling, and it's just it's like one of those meme graphs of their buys and sells, because it's just riddled with buys and sells. So there's not this discernible alpha that really comes from it. For most tokens, there's also bubble maps in here if you want to see the bubbles. Sometimes you can get the, yeah. So on any token, here's a backdoor way. You can usually look at the top 10 holders right within the bubble maps integration. Most ETH tokens will definitely have the bubble maps come in. I don't know if the base ones do. But it would be interesting to see like the history of, you know, if these wallets are selling or not. But 10K clip. That's actually pretty interesting. So this wallet almost never trades. Less than 100 trades, which is pretty crazy. I mean, there's traders in here that have like 4,000 trades. Million P&L, and they just clipped 10K into this whoop. Could be alpha. I mean, look, like they obviously aren't really a meme master. Everything else they've touched has actually been awesome. Huh. That's actually a pretty good wallet. We'll toss that in there for anyone that's paying attention. Because this is one of the best early ETH utility traders I've seen in a bit. I mean, they hit all of the good ones in 6 figures. It's pretty good, right? No? Right, they tried with the orbit and then blew out of it. They bought dump, blew out of it. They bought a bunch of is that Chart AI CX? Wonder if they still hold that. Yeah, right here, Chart AI. So I don't know. It seems potentially notable that they just clipped 10K into this thing, but anyway. All right, if there's nothing else, I am extremely against running like an actual copy trade bot, but this one seems like it could be doable. I've seen so many people get wrecked trying it. But let's just double check they're not sniping. Nope. Hey, they use Maestro. I'm extremely against automatic copy trade because if a wallet sniffs out that you're doing that, they will rinse you. It happens all the time. But this one, out of most I've seen, could be. You do what you want to do. I'm not going to recommend it. Because once a wallet figures out that they have people trailing them, like automatically trailing them, they'll just they'll go ape into some, like what they'll do is they'll go buy a bunch of some illiquid shitcoin in another wallet, and then they'll buy the illiquid, basically dead shitcoin with the wallet that's being copy traded, and then the token, because there's almost no liquidity in it, will triple or something, and then they'll just sell for both wallets, and then you just lost a bunch of money. But this one, I mean, you look at all their trades, like it's relatively normal stuff, so maybe. But anyway, it seems like for early ETH utility plays, this one seems pretty good. I mean, they're cutting all of their losses if it's not working. At least it looks that way. Yeah. But I can't say if I've seen a wallet that has 6-figure P&Ls on Scale, ZKML, TPU, Hash, Aegis, Desync, OPSEC. I mean, they don't. It looks like they trade a lot, but I mean, a lot of these P&Ls seem relatively recent. I mean, this was the one that only has like 100 trades, right? Yeah, we only traded 100 tokens. So there you go. There's your alpha for the day. But if there's no other questions, we can wrap it up there. And thank you guys for joining. If you have more questions, obviously you can just... Yeah, since 2022? That's amazing. I wonder... Let's see if it's... Let's see if it's a known person. Early Ethereum holder? Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking to see if they were actually tagged as somebody. Since 2022. That's interesting. Usually you don't come across wallets that don't I feel like usually once wallets run up to this, million P&L, they'll clean it and they'll go to the next one, but seems not that way. But this is a good example of, like, it says sniper, but all they're doing is they're just aping stuff really early. Is OPSEC more than 6 months old? I don't think so. I want to see where they bought OPSEC. But they're not sniping, even though it says. I mean, there was probably a time they were sniping. Oh, that's just a sight to behold. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, they didn't snipe this one. They just bought 500,000 OPSEC tokens on launch day. Day after launch, actually. Then they keep trying to buy back in, and it hasn't gone so well. But yeah, they bought 500,000 OPSEC. I wonder... They sold most of it, and it's actually kind of... Oh, it's because they took out initials. I was going to say they should have made a lot more, but you see they took quite a bit out in here. And then it's super cent. I mean, look at this. They're basically making, what was that, like 20 grand a day they were just selling out. That's good stuff. That's a good wallet, though. There you go. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. It doesn't seem like anyone's got any more questions, but we found a good... If nothing else, if you didn't get anything else from this, we found a pretty good wallet for finding early ETH utility plays. I mean, they bought Cosmic. Is that when Cosmic launched? Yeah, I mean, they bought a lot of Cosmic early. Pretty good. Yep, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. As always, you can hit me up in the Discord if you need anything at all.